Basically, I get an old and rusty and not running bike and turn it into something different. My name is Francis Von Tutho. It's not my real name. My name is Francesco. Everyone calls me Frank. My passion for motorbikes started a long time ago, probably before I can remember it. My nonna, my grandmother, always say like, even when I was in the pram, each time, especially a motorbike was riding past, I was, they couldn't hold me down. I like bikes, like really, like 360 degrees. I own a Harley and I got sports bike. I've been for track days. I also do love heavy pieces of steel, and I will have it sitting right next to my Ducati 916 or 916. Yeah, I love all kind of bikes. I want to have pretty much a bike for each day of the week. One day I feel like I want to be fast, so I have my sports bike. Some days I want to be fancy, so I have my cafe racer where I can go and get my coffee at the shop. But the favorite things that I like to do on bikes is to customize them. To actually put my vision into an item, to transfer the vision into the finished object is what gives me more satisfaction. At the time, in the mid-90s, in Italy, you could still find old mopeds, Vespas, or sometimes even full motorbikes left on the side of the road. Yeah, whatever. I used to take these neglected scooters and take it down to common garage, and with the few tools that I collect, pull them apart. But at the time, probably they never went together, or even if they went back together, they didn't run. I had no idea what I was doing. September 2000, I started working as an apprentice. This guy was a road racer and he had a workshop, and he taught me how to be a mechanic. He took me with him on race weekends. That's what I started, and that's what I got enough money to buy myself my real motorbike. I bought myself an Aprilia RS 125. As soon as I bought it, it had so much problems. Like, I seized the engine once, and he had all sort of electrical problem, and I had no money to fix it. Doesn't matter if I was a mechanic, I wasn't earning much money. I then bought a RGV 250, which was my first track bike. I started to do track days, and started to have a better understanding of the bike and the dynamics. Yeah, I started on 2-strokes, and I still love 2-strokes. One day I'll build a sick one, hopefully, yeah. I ended up in Australia because I always thought like, Jesus, I want to go there. I want to make a trip, go down there, see what it's like. I know that in Australia there are kangaroos and koalas, and they put pineapple on pizza. I thought, all right, I'm 28, I don't like what I'm doing, I've always been working. So what about I take some serious time for myself and I do something different, like go traveling, not just going somewhere for a month holiday, but get out of Italy and live somewhere else. And it ended up being Australia. So finally, when I moved to Brisbane and I got a job, I was so keen on getting on the tools again. And I was so keen to get a motorbike. The first thing that I do, I went on Gumtree and looked for a bike. I was thinking to look for a ex-Army XT, which they come with a safari tank. So quick and easy bike, single cylinder, light, I can go everywhere with it, it would have been cheap. I ended up spending all my money buying a Harley Davidson. I still remember it, when I saw the ad, it didn't even have a picture, and it said like a Harley Davidson Heritage, and it was like, really all the money that I had in the bank. And I thought like, oh, Francesco, just don't ring him, don't forget about it. Then the ad kept coming up, and I kept saying to myself, Frankie, don't do it, Frankie, don't do it. Hey mate, you still got the bike? Yeah, I'm coming. And that's how I ended up with my Harley. Yeah. On 1st of December 2013, while riding with my friend on Mount Me, I got caught into a front end slide. I actually dragged the frame, lost the front end, and ended up, me and the bike, under the guardrail. The bike was proper fucked. I've been thinking for the next 2 days, it's not the bike's fault. It was my fault because I was an idiot. Couldn't control myself and I ended up destroying it. So after a couple of days I realized, like, you know what, learn a lesson from it. And how you can learn a lesson? Spending money and time trying to build it into something different, because it's also something that you want to do, Francesco. So, all right, take the bike home, start stripping it, have a good look at it without the tins. Not that there was much left on it after I crashed it, but yeah, probably you should dig into your memories and try to look for that famous bike that you saw in the little picture that Secondhand Bikes magazine a few years back, and try to bond it with other ideas you have and build your own custom bike. And that's what I ended up doing. Never did a full Harley engine build, but you had to start from somewhere. You're a mechanic, buy yourself a manual and get started. So I rebuilt all the engine just to make it a bit more angry, like camshafts, adjustable push rods, different carby, made myself an exhaust system, and I ended up with a Harley with clip-ons and rear set, with massive brakes, front and rear. I actually bought 2 Brembo calipers and a 330mm front disc, and I fit 2 4-pistons calipers to 1 single disc at the front. And at the back I found this very cool GMA billet pulley with the integrated floating disc. So one of the cool features about this bike is on one side you got massive brakes, and on the other side you got these 2 hub covers, which they nearly looks like drum brakes, but they're not. It's definitely a lot of me. Beautiful, not beautiful, that doesn't matter. But that bike is 100% me. Yeah.